Hello, it's me, and today I'll be doing a showcase on my custom mini articulated 98 Zilla figure. But before I go on to that, the reason I haven't been uploading for absolutely ages is because the first 2 weeks I was ill and recovering. The other weeks I had lots of schoolwork to catch up with from being ill. Then, gotta be honest, the other weeks I just forgot because I was busy making stuff. Because one thing that I'm making at the moment is a custom Biolante figure, which will be in a stop motion one day. I'll do a showcase, but it's nowhere near done yet. Also, I'm making a custom mini singular point Rodan and articulating the Bandai Godzilla Terrestrius. So that's the reason I haven't been uploading, and those will be future videos. You'll see them in stop motions probably. But yeah, on with the showcase. So this figure, I don't ask in the comments what this figure is. I just found this. I was looking on eBay for figures, and this just randomly appeared. It was a really crappy, unknown make of, well, no, it was a figure that I found on eBay, which I've never heard of the make. It didn't really have a make, and it was only £8. No one had bid on it, so I put in a bid, and I got it straight away, because no one else had bid on it. And I had been looking for a Zilla figure for quite a while, because it's one of those, it was the first Godzilla film I ever watched, was the American 98 Godzilla film. So this is one that I've wanted to have a Zilla figure for ages. Unfortunately, this is, as you can see, a very small figure because you can't get any big ones, unfortunately. Hopefully Monster Arts will be making one soon. Maybe to go with their 2004 might be quite a good idea. But I'm very pleased with this figure. The joints that I used for this, these were from a model which was, they were human models for drawing, basically. And I took the joints out because they were perfect size, and I put them in this, so it has a brilliant range of articulation. And when I got it, it couldn't move whatsoever. Also, the head, I sculpted the head to be more rectangular and flat. When I got it, it was like that. So it had a really sloped down head, and that was much thinner, the bottom jaw. And also, I sculpted the little dewlap flap of skin underneath his neck, which I'm quite pleased with. But the way I added the joints was first, so I got the figure and I cut it in all the places where I was going to add joints. So basically I just had it on the floor in all its separate pieces. Then I hollowed them out with a drill and a bit of a scalpel just to clean it up a bit. Then I drilled in a thin hole to put the actual joints in. You can see here, I painted them with a black marker, a black pen, I can't remember what make, and it should stay on very well. It has flaked off in a couple areas because there are some bits that I missed, like you can see the elbow, because I did paint these this colour, but obviously putting the pen over the top of that, it scrapes off. So I'll put a couple more layers on. But I'm very pleased with the articulation on this figure, so I guess I'll go over that now. So the jaw has just a simple hinge, it can open and close. The neck is on a double ball joint, which is one that I made myself. So I bought one, I cut the end off of one and stuck a ball on the other end. So now it's a double ball joint, so it can go up and down like that. It can look left to right, down about that. Not very high up, but good enough. Shoulders just a plain ball joint, so it can go up about that far, in about that far, can spin all the way around. Elbows hinge, so they can go in about that far, out into a straight line. and can also spin around. The wrists hinge, so they've got a nice range of movement, and they can spin round. I didn't do anything with the waist. I was going to do something, but it would just be a bit of a faff cutting all the dorsal plates, and it would also be a bit annoying with these hips. And for the hips, they can go out, so you can almost do the splits, but not all the way. You can go in all the way and can spin around. The knees are hinged, so they can go in that far, out that far, almost to a straight line. The ankles in very far and out to a straight line, so that you can get them standing up quite straight. Then for the tail, it isn't an impressive tail. I only did it in a couple bits, so it can go round that way, because when I got it, the tail was already posed that way, so it can't really go that far the other way, and it can't really go straight, unfortunately. But for only £8, the detail was actually quite impressive. I was really quite amazed at how much detail there was. It's pretty blooming accurate to the film. It's got it's got his massive chin. I forgot how skinny I think there's a boy and a girl. No, they're both, yeah. I can't really remember much from the film. I did watch it quite a while ago. But it's very slender Godzilla. And something that I always did quite like is because when I watched the film, I was little and I loved dinosaurs, and I hadn't seen any other Godzilla films. So I love this one because it is a very dinosaur-like Godzilla on the two legs and bent forward. It reminded me a lot of a T-Rex, which I really liked. And the dorsal plates were really interesting to me because they're not like the classic, they haven't got any pattern. They are just like the 2014 where they're sort of just jagged and like rocks basically. They don't really have much of a pattern. But they do, it's got 3 rows. They're bent inwards, which I think he does actually have in the film. But I was amazed with this sculpt. And then for the paint, basically I mixed up a base layer of that type of greeny brown. Then over the top of that, I did some black dry brushing just so you could see more of the details, if I can get it to focus. There, you can see the dry brushing on there, bit on the top of the head, and on all the limbs I did it, on the tail as well. Very heavy dry brushing there. On the chest I did just a plain, I can't remember the exact, it was a pale blue that I used for the chest and the side of the neck. Then I did a darker blue for the dorsal plates going all the way down to the tip of the tail and on the back of his neck. Also, I did some little, using this blue, I added some little bits here and there that you can see. So I did some on his shoulder, did a bit of dark blue dry brushing on his top of his thighs and his shins. And then for the nails, I just did with plain black. I didn't do anything special with his eyes. It is just a plain orange dot. I wasn't really able to do much because it's really, really small. But I did all of his individual teeth with just, it was a bit of white and yellow. Then in the mouth, I did a pink. I need to paint that little ball at the back there. That's something which I forgot. But yeah, expect to see this in some stop motions in the future. One stop motion, which I am going to do with this, is this guy versus my mini articulated Godzilla 2004, because in Final Wars he fights Zilla. Then it isn't the 98 one, but they basically just took the exact design. So expect to see a battle between these two. I might use the Lego city that I used for the Cloverfield animation, or I might just make a brand new city for smaller figures. But here he is also next to the Neca Godzilla 1954, which is basically the one figure I always compare anything to. Any figure, even if it isn't related to Godzilla, I always do it next to this guy, just because it is basically, if you're going to have a Neca Godzilla, I'd recommend this one, just because he is the Godzilla, and it's a really nice sculpt. And finally, the last thing I did for this one was I made a little flame effect, which it isn't, basically, you might have seen this in my custom video. I used this for my mini Gamera figures. This was his fireball effect, and amazingly, this fits perfectly into his mouth, so I can use it as a nice flame effect. So I can maybe do like a beam clash between these two, like Godzilla and Mecha Godzilla, which I think might be quite good for an animation. But that about does it for this showcase. I really hope you enjoyed. I'm not going to be able to put a stop motion up this week because I was doing stuff on the weekend. There might be one next week. I don't know. I haven't really got one planned. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.